All right, picture this for a second. Imagine you're literally scaling a sheer cliff face. You've spent years, maybe even decades, just relentlessly pushing yourself upward. Your eyes are fixed strictly on the summit. You put in all this grueling work, hand over hand, foot over foot, until finally, bam, you reach the absolute peak of your success. You're standing right there at the top. But then suddenly, your upward momentum just completely stops. You look up, and there is literally nowhere left to climb. The only direction left is down. So what happens in that exact moment? Okay, let's dive into this. That's the core question we're unpacking in today's explainer. We're going to be looking at a really fascinating short text titled The Architecture of Moral Stability. It explores this incredible spatial metaphor, one that contrasts the towering heights of our financial ambitions with the deep, absolutely necessary roots of our moral foundations. It's a look at how we build our lives, and honestly, what happens to that structure when a major storm hits.
All right, Section 1, Reaching Financial Heights.
We live in a world that totally glorifies the ascent, right? We're continuously pushing to accelerate toward the top. We're constantly told to scale the corporate ladder, to grow our portfolios, and to just constantly push our financial boundaries. And hey, it's a thrilling, triumphant upward momentum. But the text brings us to a pretty stark realization. The author writes, when we reach a certain financial height, let's just pause on that exact phrasing for a second. At a certain level of financial success, the mathematics of ambition fundamentally change. The opportunities for explosive exponential growth naturally begin to shrink. The space at the top of the pyramid is limited. You've achieved the goal, sure, but the thrill of the climb is suddenly replaced by a really precarious balancing act. And this brilliantly illustrates the inherent tension of success. On one hand, reaching those financial heights means you have fewer chances to go higher. Your upward momentum stalls out. But on the flip side, because you are so incredibly high up, you now face a long, deep way to go if something actually goes wrong. The higher you climb, the greater the potential fall. It's a terrifying physical reality, but applied directly to our financial lives. Which brings us to Section 2, the inevitable, unexpected drop. Now, we really have to slow down here because the reality is that the upward climb is rarely permanent. That triumphant momentum we just talked about, it can be halted in an absolute instant. And it's not about being pessimistic, it's just about gravity. Look at this warning directly from the source. We may find it difficult to adjust when we have to drop down a bit due to an unexpected event in life. Notice how the author specifically emphasizes the psychological difficulty of that adjustment. One minute your trajectory is pointed straight up, and in a single unexpected event. Maybe it's an industry disruption, a sudden job loss, or a personal health crisis. Your trajectory instantly reverses. You're falling. And you have to remember where you're falling from. A long, deep way to go. Just let the emotional weight of those words sink in for a moment. So the text basically forces us to ask ourselves a very direct and honestly kind of uncomfortable question. Are you planned for the failures? We spend so much time strategizing our success, mapping out our investments, and visualizing our victories. But the author urges us to be highly cautious. If you are standing on a towering peak of financial height right now, what is your actual plan for when the wind blows you off the edge? Moving on to Section 3, your roots and values. To actually prepare for that fall, we need to shift our focus completely downwards, away from the summit and right to the ground beneath our feet. The text introduces a concept defined as moral stability. Based on the reading, this is the internal strength and standards that keep us stable and grounded during life's inevitable roadblocks. Think of it as your ultimate internal safety net. While your finances dictate exactly how high you can reach, your moral stability dictates how hard you're going to land. It is the absolute critical infrastructure beneath your ambition. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the highly physical spatial language the author uses. Read this carefully. If we are not careful to stay in our roots and stay grounded, staying in our roots isn't presented as some passive trait that you just naturally have. It's an active, deliberate choice. You have to be careful to maintain it. It requires real effort to cultivate strong standards and values. Basically, while you are busy climbing up, you literally must simultaneously be busy digging down. Let's look at Section 4, Avoiding Rock Bottom. This foundational preparation actively saves us during a crisis. Let's move to and see how this builds a complete timeline. First, you reach your financial peak. Second, an unexpected life event occurs, creating a sudden roadblock. Third, you face the drop. Your upward momentum stops dead and you begin to fall. But then, crucially, step 4, you stabilize via your values.
This step-by-step anatomy shows us that the drop itself might be completely inevitable, but a devastating crash, that is not.
The author captures this beautifully, stating that when things go wrong, our moral strength and values in life would keep us stable so that we do not hit rock bottom. I mean, there is a massive, life-altering difference between hitting a roadblock and hitting rock bottom. A roadblock is just a delay. It's a drop down. But rock bottom, that's devastation. Your moral strength, your standards, your roots, acts as the literal floor that catches you. It arrests your fall before it's too late.
So the crucial point is this ultimate formula for resilience provided by the text. To survive the inevitable drop without completely shattering on impact, you have to stay grounded in your roots, maintain strong standards, and actively plan for failures. If you actually do those things, you can consciously rely on that moral strength when you inevitably hit a roadblock. It's literally the blueprint for true stability.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a really vital question. Look at your own life right now. Are you spending more time building your heights or growing your roots? Remember, the taller the building, the deeper the foundation has to be. Take some time to really tend to your roots today. Thanks so much for joining me.